Atlantic City Regional Top 8 and 2017 NAIC Top 8. So we can see how he's always come so close as a couple Top 8s in his bag, but this might be his first Top 4 and could go all the way as well with this Gardevoir EX deck.
Yeah, you love that story when a player finally breaks through, now is in our top 4 here at the Knoxville Regional Championship and has a possibility to get into our finals. Up against Robb here, Portland Regional Top 8, NAIC finalist, Vancouver Regional Champion, and Indianapolis Regional Champion. Robb is actually a 5-time Regional Champion and is so young as well.
So young.
So
indeed.
young, especially for that many accomplishments in the Masters division of the Pokemon TCG. And Robb is going to be facing off today with that Giratina V-Star deck.
So I've played against Robb a couple of times throughout my career, and I have to tell you, every single time I've gotten completely smoked, like zero chance. I mean, not because I'm making any mistakes or anything, just like the way the games just happen. Like, he plays flawlessly, draws flawlessly, and then I'm just always falling a little bit behind here and there, and I just have not been able to beat Ian, I don't think, historically.
Gosh. Yeah, I mean, Robb is definitely a threat in every single field, whatever regional championships he chooses to attend. Let's take a look at our prize cards here, Pablo.
Yeah, big prizes here for Ryan, the Jirachi, and the Kirlia. Especially the Kirlia to help with your setup. Not ideal to have there, but the Jirachi is so crucial to stop Sableye from possibly wrecking your board, especially if you're needing to power up Shining Arcana with a lot of energies. That's a lot of stealth damage, and that's where Sableye can really clean up after. As we get this match started, nothing too crucial for Ian that I could tell. The Giratina V-Star copy, maybe not so much. We'll have to see, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think that's a big deal as we get this game started here.
Yeah, let's jump into this right now. Ryan Antonucci versus Robb in our Masters Top 4 here on the stream. Ryan Antonucci going to start us off here with a level ball, the Mew in the active position as well for Ryan, and just going through the deck here, mapping things out. And yeah, I mean, I always say Giratina V-Star as far as the Pokemon that I lead with for Robb's deck. But this is not just Giratina. This is Lost Box Giratina. It functions with Giratina. It functions as a Lost Box deck as well. It's a hodgepodge of a lot of different attackers that could come up here in this matchup. But on paper, I know you said that you favor Gardevoir here, Pablo. What are your reasonings behind that?
So I really like Gardevoir going into this matchup as long as you can set up, right? Which I think is always like the big asterisk for Gardevoir is like, if you get set up, Gardevoir feels like the best deck ever. But if you don't get set up, if you struggle in the beginning, that can be problematic. But if you do get set up, you have Cresselia to heal up your board, which funnily enough, Ryan does not play Cresselia, so never mind about that. Screamtail gonna be pretty crucial to take down the bench, but it's just like, overall in the price exchange, I really favor Gardevoir overall, especially if you play Cresselia. But Ryan is not playing Cresselia this time around and priced Jirachi, and that's where Sableye is gonna be the most dangerous.
Yeah, most dangerous indeed here for Ryan. We see two Ralts now coming out onto the field here for Ryan. I guess as far as Screamtail goes, I know you brought it up, Pablo. How impactful is this card truly now that it's been slotted into our Gardevoir decks?
So Screamtail is a fantastic attacker, just being able to very cost-effectively threaten opponents' Pokemon, being able to take down a Comfey without having to commit a Gardevoir to take a knockout is very important. You want to keep all your Gardevoir pieces available. Every Gardevoir you don't commit to attack is an extra 2 cards of refinement, and that's how you protect yourself from Ionos, from Roxanne's, whether it's in this matchup or the next. And Ian especially will want to try to trap Ryan and have a path to a peak down to stop the Psychic Embrace from Gardevoir EX, but that won't necessarily be easy to do if there's a lot of Kirlias in play.
Yeah, we'll see if Robb is able to pull off some disruption here in this game, throwing up obstacles left and right toward Ryan Antonucci. But starting off with the Battle VIP pass, going to bring out a Comfey and a Radiant Greninja. Giratina V in the active position here. I'll tell you what, Pablo, both these players are chatty today.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're both like good friends.
Oh,
I don't know
that's
how
great.
good, but I'm pretty sure they're very familiar with each other. They hang out with each other. So just like with Reagan, they're very serious about what they do, right? They're at the top 4 of a very important tournament. However, they're also friendly, and that's part of the magic that is Pokemon.
Yeah, you love to see that for sure. Ryan Antonucci, I mean, we shaped up that first turn there, establishing 2 Ralts on the bench, getting an energy attachment down. And now we're in the second turn of the game here for Ryan. Mew going to use that Mysterious Tail here to search out that Fog Crystal as the item card for Ryan Antonucci, going into the deck here to select either a basic Psychic Pokemon or basic Psychic Energy. It's going to be the Energy this time, instantly being attached to that Mew in the active position.
Yeah, we really want to head into the Mirage Step Kirlia right now to establish other Kirlias as we see it get played. And yeah, I mean, as Gardevoir, the only bad thing about Ryan's current setup is that a Kirlia is priced, right? Other than that, getting this up without having lost a single prize card, this is a dream. And with Ian's very slow, underwhelming start once again, yeah, with no threat to the Kirlia, this is a dream for a Gardevoir player where you get to set up without giving up any prizes whatsoever and without getting pressured at all by your opponent.
Yeah, you're sitting pretty for sure if you're playing Gardevoir in this point in time.
Oops.
And Ryan Antonucci is Ian Robb just going to place the path to the peak and pass back to Ryan Antonucci. Pablo, am I ever going to get to see some Ian Robb gameplay without a difficult first turn setup?
Yeah, I feel like you're generally rooting for Ian, but you might be cursing him as well.
What am I doing here, Pablo? Get me off the stream. I'm sorry, Ian.
All right, so we're going to see Ryan start off once again, like 0 cards in your opponent's loss zone. You're feeling really, really good. Now, Gardevoir decks do take a little bit to get going, right? And this is where I really wish Ryan had been I mean, he's made it so far without the Cresselia, right? But Cresselia for me is such an integral part to the deck. We'll have to see how Ryan plays this out without the Cresselia. What is his approach to this matchup? Because of course, Ryan knows how successful Giratina has been. I'm sure he's faced it plenty during the tournament, so he must have a very good plan against it as well.
Well, I'm excited to see that plan here. Of course, as you were talking about, Gardevoir takes so much setup here. And the pieces to that, of course, were those Kirlia, starting off with those refinements that we saw brought out from the Kirlia and active with that Mirage Step. All of these moves and cards play into each other to just draw more and more cards here. Now we see the evolution into that Gardevoir. Going to select 2 more cards there into the hand. And this is what we're going to see from our Gardevoir player, Ryan Antonucci. So many cards being stacked into the hand. And that's where you really get to formulate your plan of action throughout the rest of this game. Everything is in the palm of your hands. You just have to pilot it correctly and sequence things as best as you possibly can.
Yeah, speaking of, I really wish Ryan had gotten Rare Candy and evolved the benched Ralts instead of the active, because your opponent's not threatening anything at all. I really would have loved to see just damage yourself with the Gardevoir EX, hit the Giratina V for 190 and be cool with that, yeah? So now you can still hit it for 150. I don't think Ryan has 6 energies in the discard pile or 5 to be able to get the KO. I only get to see 2 of them, so it's going to be 150, but that damage on the Gardevoir can be a little problematic sometimes, especially with no Cresselia. So we'll have to see what's Ryan's approach here.
So is the Cresselia just missing from the deck, Pablo, because there's just too many? Why unslot the Cresselia, I guess, for this version of the list?
Of course, every card you include or don't include comes at a cost, right? Yeah. And Ryan is taking a slightly more, quotation marks, turbo approach to the deck by playing triple Rare Candy. That allows him to pull off a turn to Gardevoir EX more often, right, and try to respond to the aggression and this fast-paced format that we have right now a little more easily.
Whoo, look at that there. That's what I hear from Ian Robb as we go into this next turn now.
Top deck that switch card into a Flower Select, into a Path to a Peak, plus a Psychic Energy, even laughing at like how bad his choices are. That Path to Peak is not in play. It is indeed in the loss zone, and we're going to see an extra 2 cards off the Greninja. Can we find something good? But no, 2 more energies here.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. that is just unlucky. You know, I'm just going to blame being on stream now. The stream curse.
The stream curse. I mean, we have seen Ian a bunch on stream. He's always getting good results. We're about to see B seeking, but the last time he played a big top 4 was at NAIC, and he also the finals, and he ended up losing that match.
Yeah, that was also major stream curse there for sure.
Which I was also casting, so maybe it's me.
Oh, true.
Maybe I'm the problem.
Maybe it's you. We shall see. But that Jet Energy gonna bring Giratina V into the active to be able to do that Abyss Seeking. That's going to bring our Lost Zone up to 3 as well. So at least doing something here for Ian Robb. But now a damaged Giratina V. Ryan Antonucci able to play through another turn, just stacking up these resources and furthering the board state over here on the left side of the field. So we still have that Shining Arcana Gardevoir in the active position right now. Just 2 damage counters so far, and plenty of energy there.
Yeah, doing 150, more than enough for the KO, getting 2 prizes ahead. And this is definitely like almost uncharted territory for Gardevoir. This is not something you expect to happen often enough. Like there's routes in the discard pile which were not KO'd. Now you have an extra Kirlia that you can't even evolve into. Your opponent has no Giratina V, 3 cards in the Lost Zone. Just not looking great for Ian right now.
Yeah, and you just keep up this pace, and that's exactly what Ryan is doing over here to Ian's side. Now that Ryan Antonucci only has 4 prize cards left to take here, Ian Robb still just a 3-card Lost Zone here. Now 4 because of that Flower Select. It's going to be a Giratina V, though, joining the Lost Zone for Ian.
Yeah, that's 1 in the Lost Zone, 1 in the discard pile, and only leaves 1 available. And, I mean, Giratina is an expert deck in terms of making comebacks, right? It has Roxanne, it has Path to the Peak, it has Sableye. However, this is just not great at all. I mean, surely if he hasn't conceded, he has something in the back of his mind, but I generally cannot piece out what it is. Now, I think we do have confirmation, Boo, of the other results from the top 4 match.
I was just looking at that, Pablo. Aiden Koos is going to take a 2-0 victory win. That means Lost Box is in our finals here. Mawile has climbed to the top.
Setting too many traps, that sneaky Mawile.
I know, too tempting, I'll tell you that much. Ian Robb playing a nest ball here now, going through the deck for the Pokemon. I think just choosing to fail it.
No, I think he grabbed Cram.
Kramer? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I thought Cram was there, but nah, Cram's jumping into the field here for Ian Robb.
So we might finally see a little bit of aggression from Ian Robb, setting up that 110 damage onto Shiny Arcana Gardevoir, leaving it with 10 HP. Or no, a counter catcher knockout on the Kirlia.
Yeah,
neither Kirlia has a Ralt Thunder, just checking, because sometimes that matters, which Kirlia you take down.
Yeah, that is very true, but neither of them. They both came out on that Mirage step, so Kirlia going to go into the active here, thanks to Ian Robb being behind in the prize cards at the moment, activating that counter catcher, gussing the Kirlia into the active position here for Ian. Woo, first prize card down now for Ian Robb. And we're over onto Ryan's side of the field.
Yeah, so not too far behind in terms of prize cards, right? But Ryan doesn't need to do anything and already can get another prize card ahead. There is 1 Giratina V-Star in play, which, if knocked out, could be a little problematic for Ian in terms of, like, he can use Sableye, he can use Cramorant, and Ryan's board is looking a little not so great with only 3 Pokemon in play, but not the end of the world when you're so far ahead and you have basically a million cards in your hand.
True. That is very true. I mean, I guess the access to attackers that Ian Robb has, maybe a little bit more accessible here. You know, you're talking about as soon as you get your Lost Zone lined up, you have the ability to attack with so much more. And that Cramorant carries so much weight in the earlier portions of this game, sometimes the late portions, but Ryan Antonucci does take a little bit more setup for these attackers, for the draw support, for the energy acceleration, all of these pieces that are comboing together to result in these knockouts. But as long as you can keep up the pace, usually you can come out on top, but we'll see if Ryan's able to do that here. We're going to start with a refinement into 2 additional cards.
Yeah,
Look at that hand.
Yeah,
Woo!
so many options. Maybe too many options at this point in time.
That's what I'm saying, Pablo. Are you coming to the dark side here? That I'm Gardevoir. I'm not a huge fan of Gardevoir.
No, I am 100% biased towards Gardevoir,
Yeah,
the
you
Pokemon.
are.
Therefore,
It's
any Pokemon, any Gardevoir card just has a special place for me. But Super Rod put back a few resources, be able to establish that routes, maybe even the Greninja to have extra draw.
Yep.
Ryan definitely has been cruising with this Shiny Arcana Gardevoir, but will need to set something else up in order to make sure that he can keep up with whatever Ian might be planning to do in order to make a comeback into this game, as Roxanne will be available after Ryan knocks out this Cramorant this turn.
All right, well, Aralts is going to come out, at least further establishing this board here for Ryan Antonucci. Off of that Fog Crystal, we saw the energy come down onto that Gardevoir EX as well.
Yep, getting that Gardevoir EX as undamaged as possible is great so that it's not in range of lost impact, which is very, very good. And we'll have to see what else Ryan wants to do here. He definitely must have the Roxanne play coming up in mind, maybe even with the Path to a Peak, so preemptively powering up the Gardevoir EX doesn't sound like a bad idea. Could also go for an Iono to disrupt Ian's hand a little bit, like the Manaphy to protect from Greninja, but even though he's in commanding position in terms of the lead, if he gets Roxanne down to 2 cards and the Gardevoir gets KO'd, he might not be in a great situation.
Yeah, it could definitely get sticky depending on how the prize cards fall here, potentially in the future. We are going to have that Iono, though, so that giant hand's going to go to the bottom of the deck here. Same with Ian Robb's hands. And you're going to draw a card for each prize card that you have left. So some more cards for Ryan Antonucci's hands here.
Yep. An extra energy from Psychic Embrace, just making sure that if there is a path that comes down into play, you can easily attach and be ready to go with the attack on the Gardevoir EX. Now, Ian has a much nicer looking board than before, but what did he draw off of that Iono?
That is the question. 5 cards here. It's going to be a 6th after the top deck. We are going to go into a concealed cards here for Ian.
And there's the Roxanne play, so with only 5 cards in the Lost Zone, it's not as impactful. Can maybe double Comfey, but don't think we can get to 10, so that Shiny Arcana Gardevoir either gets taken down by Giratina Shred, right? Or it will live yet another turn.
Yeah, and honestly, throughout this entire match, that Shining Arcana Gardevoir has been carrying so much weight here. And that's really the difficulty of playing against Gardevoir. It's just a one-prize Pokemon, but it does so much. And it's just grinding through these prize cards here for Ryan Antonucci. Only 3 left to take. And Ian Robb, just 6 cards now in the Lost Zone.
Yep, and had to Lost on a Colress as well, which probably indicates that he is planning on playing the Roxanne, but just like a very awkward setup here. Doesn't have any switching card, I don't think. Maybe not even a Mirage Gate in hand.
I think there's a switch.
Sure. Yep, there's a switch.
Yeah, there's a switch. All right.
Might have been a choice between Colress and a Mirage Gate last. No, is there a Mirage Gate? I think it's the last card.
I know all of the Lost Box cards look
they
so
have the
similar.
Same border.
Yeah. It's tough to tell.
Yeah.
Especially Ian Robb shuffles them so quickly.
Yep.
So.
Well, there's definitely a Mirage Gate right there.
Yeah, that's an easy one to tell here. So Ian Robb going to keep that Mirage Gate to the hand. Psychic Energy going into the Lost Zone, as well as the other Psychic Energy. So 2 Psychic Energy gone forever here. Super Rod, though, going to bring back a Cramorant and a Psychic Energy back to the deck, as well as that Grass Energy.
Yeah, now there's 4 total Psychic Energies in Ian's deck, and we are seeing all of them, right? 1 in the discard pile, 1 back to the deck, 2 in the Lost Zone. So Ryan also can use this information. That's also something that he will be very aware of. 100% of the Giratina decks are playing for Psychic. No more, no less. Therefore, if you know where they are, you know exactly what options your opponent can have during their turn.
Absolutely. Well, we saw the Super Rod there from Ian Robb to get those energy back into the deck. Double Mirage Gate here to apply them to the field.
Yep, the energies did go to the Giratina V. We're definitely going to see a Shred taking down this Gardevoir, and then Ryan's board not looking too great, or not.
No, yeah.
Never mind.
That's Cram coming back for some more action here.
Yeah, Cram coming in to take down the Kirlia, interestingly enough. I was definitely not expecting that. The Roxanne did not get played. The Giratina was not used. It was just counter catcher, KO. Call it a day.
Yep, Kirlia now off the field here thanks to that Cram knockout.
Yeah, sorry, it was the boss's orders, not the counter catcher, so that's my bad. But this will probably just, with one less Kirlia, this might just make Ian's next turn more effective with that Roxanne.
Yeah, that's very true, Pablo. I guess this is the line Ian Robb has chosen to go with, and we'll see what Ryan Antonucci chooses to do here on this turn.
Sometimes I feel like when players do Shiny Arcana and they're looking at the two cards, it feels like they're trying to flower select.
Oh, yeah,
keep
I
one,
know.
get
They're
rid of
so
one,
similar, yeah.
Not quite.
Oh, that is very true. Shining Arcana. I feel like there's so many effects now in the game where you just draw two cards, and Shining Arcana can accelerate those energy or just keep the cards to your hand. No choices to be made there, no lost zones, at least for that effect of this deck. So Ryan Antonucci stacking up the hand again with some more cards here.
I would love to know how many energies are in Ryan Antonucci's discard pile. I do know the Sashin is in there though, so perhaps taking down the Giratina V could be a little troublesome, but that Jirachi finally made its way out of the prizes and into play, making Sableye way, way less effective.
Yeah, that is awesome to see here. It was in the prize cards there for Ryan Antonucci, but now only 3 prize cards left to take, and that Jirachi was one to be chosen off of them. Screamtail also joined the field here for Ryan.
Yeah, I really wait. Like, this is the perfect play for Cresselia. Yeah, this would be like an ideal situation for Cresselia. You just go Cresselia, bop the Sableye, and then you're good to go because the Cramorant cannot deal with the Cresselia, and Giratina would need to be the Pokemon to be used. You're down to the prizes, you get the KO, you're good to go. But no Cresselia, we're going to see Screamtail. I'm guessing it's going to go ahead and do 160 based on the amount of energies. Perhaps just going to knock out either the Sableye or the Cramorant. Probably the Cramorant. I think that's more threatening right now that there's a Jirachi on the bench.
Yeah, Screamtail, huge addition here. We talked about it a little bit, but does 20 damage for each counter that is on it. And of course, this is the deck where you're spreading your own damage around here. But, ooh, what do we see there, Pablo?
Yeah, Ryan going after the Giratina V. So setting himself up to where it's going to be much easier to take down, but he's also now definitely at least 2 turns away from winning the game, right? He cannot take 3 prizes, whereas if he had knocked out any other of the Pokemon on the field, then all he needs to do is deal with that Giratina V-Star or Giratina V. Is that easy? Probably not, especially with the Sashin hanging out in the discard pile. However, it's up to Ian to make something happen. He's the one that's behind. His Giratina is now damaged, easily KO'd by any of Ryan's Pokemon here. So, yeah, rough situation to be in if you're Ian Robb right now.
I know, and I feel like that's just kind of been where Ian Robb has been, at least on stream, all day today, but still fighting it out here. Super Rod to recycle those energy once again, and Mirage Gate to bring them back out here. We're going to see the Psychic go on to the Sableye, as well as the Water for the Cramorant in the active.
Yeah, now Sableye not quite a threat yet, because there's only 7 cards in the Lost Zone. We are going to see the Retreat start building up that Lost Zone, but yeah, I really wish Ryan had just eliminated this Cramorant, and Ian might be hard-pressed to find an attacker other than the Giratina V-Star at this point.
Yeah, and now we're seeing 8 cards now in the Lost Zone. It's going to be 9 after this flower. Selecting a Boss's Orders or a Path to the Peak are the options here for Ian Robb.
I think Path to a Peak is important, but so is the boss, because otherwise, yeah, it's such a hard decision. I think Ian's down 2 paths. But you really need the boss. If you're going to catch up in the prize cards, you absolutely need Giratina V-Star, to take down this Gardevoir EX. Otherwise, you're not going to catch up. Ryan did give you a little bit of an extra turn at this point in time. Ooh. There's the Roxanne finally. We'll have to see what happens. But that prize that Ryan chose not to take could end up being a little problematic.
Absolutely, Pablo. That's how things are looking to shape up here. Ian Robb finding that Roxanne there off of the Pokegear 3.0, playing it, and that's going to limit Ryan Antonucci down to just 2 cards. Ian Robb going to have 6 cards here to choose from. Concealed cards, 2 more.
Yeah, a bunch of extra resources for Ian. Goes for this spit, not so innocently, into the Screamtail and ties up the prize cards despite a very underwhelming start.
Yeah, very underwhelming start, but now that little baby Screamtail being knocked out by just a single spit innocently. Only 90 HP on that Screamtail. Easy target there for that Cramorant. Ian Robb going down another prize card here, tying things up between these players. Ryan Antonucci choosing who to promote here. It's going to be that Shining Arcana Gardevoir. What were the 2 cards we were looking at, Pablo?
For which 2?
For the Roxanne, and I guess now the draw for turn.
Yeah, so the top deck was a Boss's Order, so that is huge. That will allow Ryan to take down this Giratina Beast pretty much and seal the game. He's going to be 1 turn away from attacking 1 prize card. There's the Boss's Orders. And this is going to be very, very difficult. I think the other 2 cards were like Radiant Cringe and Stadium, so nothing super, super impactful. We see the power-up, and yeah, Ian has nothing that can withstand either of these attackers. He can maybe try to counter-catcher one of these Pokemon and try to stall, but there's no Mawile.
Yeah, exactly. There's no Mawile here this time around. Ryan Antonucci going to be taking 2 prize cards there, going down to just 1 left to take after this knockout. And that is brutal, Pablo.
Yep.
So brutal, it's going to lead to a scoop up here. And Gardevoir is 1 game closer to potentially advancing into our finals.
Yep, 1 game away from the grand finals for Ryan Antonucci here, and probably defeating one of the main bosses of the Pokemon TCG, right? Ian Robb with his 5 regional wins already. And yeah, I definitely think there's players who have that aura of a boss that you have to go through if you want to win a tournament.
Definitely. Oh, Ian Robb is by far one of those players. I mean, just playing everything, playing to all the outs, and we're not playing a game where Ian Robb started with an absolutely stellar start. I mean, it has just been clunky all day here, and Ian Robb still made it such a close game. That really speaks to his ability as a player and his skill here. As you see these turns go back and forth between these players, it really could have gone either way depending on how the cards fell, especially Ian Robb tried to turn everything in his favor with that Roxanne, but just could not come out on top here.
Yup, especially with that Boss's Orders off the top for Ryan after their Roxanne. That was so crucial. There's only 1 copy as well, and there were a significant amount of cards left. So, I mean, in order to win a regional like this, you have to be really, really good, and sometimes you need luck to smile at you from time to time.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to be in that position where things are going smoothly, you're drawing pretty nice, clean, smooth, and that has definitely not been the case for Ian Robb, but I totally believe in him as a player. I'm hoping things go well in this next matchup. As far as both of our initial setups, how are these prize cards looking though?
These are not looking too great for Ryan. There is a Gardevoir prize, which is very crucial, one of your main attackers, but more importantly, there's 2 Path to a Peak counters. The Artisan at the very top, the Worker at the very bottom, but that Artisan at the top could definitely be something where if we have a very close game, that comes down to Roxanne Path, and Ryan's digging for that last path counter, that could be the one that he's missing to close out a game. And then on Ian's side, Cramorant was prized, so that early aggression no longer a possibility after we see a very unfortunate start for Ian once again.
Gosh. Oh, absolutely. We saw so much weight being carried as well by that Cramorant in the last game for Ian Robb. Not only is it in the prize cards, but Ian Robb, 1 card in the lost zone here, attachment to a Comfey in the active, and that's it. we're on Ryan Antonucci's side of the field now. So Ian Robb working on a hard mode uphill battle. Once again, Ryan Antonucci on the other flip side of that, starting off with a battle VIP pass. So already establishing this board state. We have 3 Ralts on the field here now. And I mean, Gardevoir, like you said last game, Pablo, if it gets that initial setup, it is so powerful.
Yep, that Mirage Step's so good, and if you can Mirage Step without giving up any prize card, that's the dream for you, for every Gardevoir player out there. And now, I think Ian lost zoned this Comfey. Certainly, the other card had to be a Colress, right? I didn't catch what it was, but like, I can't fathom what other card you could possibly want better than a second Comfey on turn 1, because you don't even know what your deck has yet. So even if there were 3 Psychics prize and that was your last Psychic, you still don't know that. So we do see the Iono probably putting that Colress I'm predicting was in the hand to the bottom, but I think I see another Colress for Ian here.
Well, thank goodness, saved by that Iono there. Could have gone really clunky after that, but the Colress's experiment is going to save Ian Robb here. Let's see what the choices are, though. Sometimes not too easy. 5 cards, 3 are going to go to the hand, 2 to the lost zone.
A lot of energies, a path to a peak. Couldn't quite catch what else, like Giratina V, but 2 energies into a lost zone immediately. Not a great start. Just things not going well for Ian in the 2. It feels like he was not on stream, he was flying.
I know.
He gets on stream, he's struggling.
I know, we're talking only 3 grass energy, 2 water energy in the deck, and they're gone. At least 1 copy is gone forever there in the lost zone for Ian Robb. Comfey going to come onto the bench here, and Giratina V getting thrown up there with that jet energy. We're going to see the Abyss Seeking, adding a couple more cards here to the lost zone for Ian Robb. And 2 cards will go to the hand.
Yep, a much better start in terms of adding to the lost zone for Ian, but a very weak board. Where are all the other Pokemon? Where are they, Boo?
I mean, they're in the deck, I suppose. They're hiding out here at the moment. Oh my gosh, Super Rod and a Battle VIP Pass going into the lost zone for Ian Robb.
When you've already lost zone 2 energies, you know you have to be extra careful with your energies, and now a Super Rod hits the lost zone. So not great, as we see Ryan just very calmly set up his routes. Now he's going to grab presumably the Mirage Step Kirlia, as he's putting all the other Kirlias to the very top of the deck. Or no? Only grab 2. Oh, there's the Mirage Step Kirlia.
We found it.
I'm pretty sure I did not see it in the prize cards. But sometimes it's so many games, right, that we're casting. Sometimes they blur a little bit together. I'm thinking of the prize cards of one game when I'm actually in a whole new game.
Yeah, I do that all the time too, Pablo. But yep, here we go. That Mirage Step Kirlia joining us here in the active. And yeah, those little Ralts on the bench just dancing through a flower field. That's pretty much how Ryan Antonucci is feeling so far playing this game, having all of the opportunity here to set up, establish a board state. And we're going to see the exact same thing we saw from game 1 as far as the Mirage Step Kirlia goes, bringing out some more Kirlia.
Yeah, 1 Kirlia in hand. There's the energy. And we're going to see 4 Turtle Kirlias along with a Ralt. So this almost feels like cheating. And yeah, it's like now you can potentially get to 5 Gardevoirs, or you can afford to like have those extra Kirlias. And this is especially strong with the adaptation that Ryan has made with 3 rare candies. Yeah, this Ralt here that can evolve into a Gardevoir, and then you get to have access to triple refinement along with your Gardevoir EX or Shiny Arcana. That just feels incredible, drawing so many extra cards each turn.
Yeah, this board state for Ryan is leading to a much easier time down the line into the later half of this game. And Ian Robb, unfortunately, with a lack of an establishment of a board state, like I said, it's just hard mode, climbing uphill now for Ian Robb. Colress's experiment is going to help a little bit here, but we see even more energy come out from the top of the deck here for Ian Robb. Difficult decisions, 2nd water energy going into the lost zone here for Ian. Bringing the lost zone counter up, but more energy and resources down.
Yeah, now
was that a boss too?
It's a Roxanne.
That's the
believe.
Roxanne?
Yeah,
okay.
So there is another copy of Roxanne, so we can still see that Roxanne plus Path to a Peak late game combo. But something very important to note about how this game of information is so crucial in the game of Pokemon. So Manaphy came down last turn, protecting from Radiant Greninja. please don't move it, Ian. And so, but there was already one water energy in the lost zone. So Ryan doesn't know whether Ian plays 2 or 3 waters. The trend with Giratina has been pretty 50-50 between both, but he wanted to play it safe. In case Ian does play 3 water energies, I want to be extra safe and not let Radiant Greninja take down 2 of my Kirlias, which I worked very hard to get out of.
Yes, that is very true. Manaphy pulling a lot of weight there for Ryan Antonucci, and it pays off. Now Ian Robb is down a lot of energy, a lot of resources here, but still chugging along here. We've gone through a flower selecting 2 nest ball here for Ian Robb as well.
Yep, now Ian's board looking a lot nicer. There's 9 cards in the lost zone already. We could even see a Sableye attack potential if we see another Comfey hit the board here. So interesting situation to be in. Can Mirage Gate can start taking prizes with Shred, but this is another issue. Yeah, Ryan was very ahead in the previous game, and that built a huge advantage. But generally, both of these decks like to be just a little bit behind. Yeah, if Giratina is a little bit behind, it can counter at will. If Gardevoir is a little bit behind, it has access to that huge reversal energy.
Yeah, that is true. There's a lot of cards here that help both players in that situation. We're getting to 10 now in the lost zone from Ian Robb with an addition of that Comfey with the flower selecting, which is going to enable our Sableye here and that lost mine.
Yep, Sableye combined with Path to a Peak. Really strong start after starting a turn not so hot. We're definitely looking at Ian taking the initiative and being able to do a lot of damage here, eliminating a Kirlia.
Yeah, Kirlia down 4 damage counters on another benched Kirlia as well. That's everything Ian Robb could have done here, as well as the Path to the Peak now being in play. You see how much is unlocked with the strength of a Lost Box deck as soon as you hit 10 in the Lost Zone, where it's exactly where Ian Robb wants to be at this point in time to at least keep up some pressure here in this match. Ryan Antonucci evolving here into that Shining Arcana, Arcana Gardevoir for 2 energy.
That is crazy. Ryan started the turn with a 1-card hand, and he used Refinement, and then he draws into both energies. Without those, probably wouldn't have been able to attack, and now finds an Iono to follow this up with a level ball to establish Jirachi. What is this?
I guess the Pokemon TCG gods have shined upon Gardevoir this weekend in Knoxville.
Gardevoir seems to be a fan favorite here at the stream. We'll have to see. Yeah, Stellar Rail Jirachi protecting from any further shenanigans from future Sableyes. I mean, there's only 1 copy of Sableye now in Giratina deck, so not that big a deal, but it's once again, you'd rather be safe than sorry, right?
Yes,
with these 2 protecting Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, Sableye is a huge threat to your vulnerable, low HP Pokemon, and that Jirachi eliminates that for you. So that's amazing to have, for sure.
Incredible draws by Ryan here. I'm genuinely jealous. I am genuinely jealous. I wish Gardevoir worked as smoothly as it has been for Ryan.
Oh, yes. At least for you, huh, Pablo?
Yeah, for me. Yeah, not for everyone else. Just
just when you're piloting it. Well, we're going to see this energy here come down onto this benched Kirlia for Ryan.
Yeah, but now, in an ideal situation, Ian would love to use Giratina V-Star, KO a Gardevoir EX, but I don't see a Gardevoir EX. Do you, Boo?
No, I don't. Not at this point in time. Sometimes those arts are a little confusing, but that is definitely not a Gardevoir EX there. That is a Shining Arcana Gardevoir that we have on the field.
Another tough decision here for Ian of this flower selecting Colress and something else, which I'm guessing was an energy. Otherwise, I don't know, the hesitation or maybe a Mirage Gate. Yeah, there's too many energies now. And a big issue Ian has right now is the only way to deal with this Gardevoir is to do so with either,
wow, it was an energy.
Either Shred or Lost Impact or the V-Star.
Yeah.
And that means you're trading 2 for 1 and you're activating reversal energy once again by being ahead, and you're not even ahead by 2 prize cards. So, almost the worst possible outcomes for Ian. Ryan had a 1-card hand starting off the last turn. I mean, did have triple refinement, but could not have picked better cards.
Yeah, you're slightly gaining a lead by doing that, but like you said, it's just, that's another option that makes this deck so difficult. You're knocking out these Pokemon that are taking huge knockouts on your board and furthering their prize card advantage, but it's just a one prize card Pokemon. You have to eliminate the threat, but you don't get much advantage from doing that besides taking the threat off the field. And then another threat is established by Ryan Antonucci. And that's what we're seeing here, unfortunately, for Ian Robb. Ryan Antonucci being passed over to now, starting with a refinement off this Kirlia, discarding that level ball into 2 additional cards.
Now, I think I'm noticing something like very smooth by Ryan that is very clever to do. Every time he uses the Shining Arcana ability, yeah, it looks as if he was doing some sort of flower selecting, right? Looking at the cards. Shining Arcana allows you to attach any psychic energy or any basic energy you find there to your Pokemon. Yeah, but your opponent doesn't know what those 2 cards are. So you're always, like, by pausing there and deciding whether you're going to do something with those cards, it gives the slight information that, or the slight, like, yeah, the slight bluff, if you will, that maybe I have an energy now, and keeps your opponent guessing. As we see this boss's orders, very aggressive onto the Giratina V-Star.
Boss's orders indeed. Ordering up that Giratina V-Star into the active position here. Ton of damage back over to Ian Robb's side of the field. But I love that point, Pablo. Keeping up the pressure here, not alluding to anything going on. Because, yeah, the poker face is important, especially when you're in such a highly competitive match like this, Masters top 4. It doesn't get much more scary than this until you're in the finals.
Yeah, for sure. And Ian was able to call res, did find Mirage Gate and a Super Rod, does have a few energies in the discard pile, but has even more in the lost one. I believe there's 4 right here, which is very, very problematic. And do you go V-Star KO Gardevoir? Do you go Lost Impact and send even more energies to a Lost Zone? I don't know if Ian has enough resources to close out this game at all.
Yeah, it's 2 Psychic, a Water, and a Grass energy in the Lost Zone gone forever here. That is a ton of energy to be losing when you're playing a deck that also discards energy too. And you also, I mean, there's a ton of resources, recovery resources that have been lost as well already from Ian Robb.
Yeah, this Super Rod gets played. The other Super Rod got Lost Zone, right? And there's a total of 2 Super Rods in the deck, so no more energy recovery whatsoever. No more Pokemon recovery, so no more Sableye. The Cramorant is still living in the prize cards for now, so just not a great situation.
Yeah, could it be too much potentially here for Ian Robb? Or will Ian Robb once again be able to 4D chess his way out of this situation? We'll have to see, Pablo.
I mean, Ian Robb definitely capable of trying to pull things through, but Ryan also an extremely talented player. He knows he has a big advantage. He's very continually checking the Lost Zone, checking the discard pile, figuring out what resources Ian has left. I'm pretty sure if you asked either of these players, they could tell you 59 or 58 of the cards that their opponents are running at this point in time. So they're very aware of that, and that means you can make your decisions based on, well, I know how you can beat me, and I'm going to try to stop that as well. And I'm pretty sure Ryan's very close to a point where he knows he can confidently know there's not enough energy for Ian to close out this game.
Yep, Ian going to take the knockout here on that Shining Arcana Gardevoir that had done so much work so far in this matchup. But as we said, Ryan Antonucci is well prepared here to respond to that attack from Ian Robb. It's going to be over to Ryan's side of the field. Manaphy actually going to be the promotion here from Ryan.
Yeah, interesting decision. I mean, easy to attach retreat, right? But that's usually sometimes an indicator that perhaps my hand's not looking too hot at this point in time. There is a path to a pick and play blocking the Gardevoir EX, and we do know there are 2 path to a peak counters currently in the prize cards for Ryan. So that could be one of the things that potentially swing things for Ian. But Ian really desperately needs that Cramorant of the prizes. When you're running low on resources and energy, what you need, the most cost-efficient Pokemon that you have in your whole deck.
That's Super Rod going to put some cards back into the deck here for Ryan.
Yeah, Geralt, Kirlia, just getting back those very important pieces. The Shining Arcana Gardevoir, as the other one is also prized. And there is a Worker in hand, so perhaps that was the prize taken a few turns ago, as I do believe Worker and Artisan were prized.
Those were the prize cards,
so Worker is now available to counter that path to a peak. I don't see any Gardevoir EX in Ryan's hand. Does have double refinement and
turn through some things. Going to be, my goodness, just the Ralts and that counter catcher as well.
Yeah,
off that first refinement. We're going to see a second refinement, discarding that Professor's Research.
There's a Gardevoir EX, so no matter what, Ryan will be able to attack this turn. The question is, does he want to? I think in an ideal world, you would like to knock out this Giratina V, which is the one that's ready. Even though it hasn't evolved, energies are a much more important resource for Ian right now than the Giratina V-Star. So ideally, you have counter catcher. If you can, you want to take that down.
Well, we're going to see the energy attachment there onto the Manaphy to be able to pivot out of that. Gardevoir EX going to come down onto the field as well.
There's the worker drawing 2 more Path to a Peak counters, ironically. And we're going to see the Screamtail take a knockout somewhere. Perhaps here in the active, perhaps on one of these 2 Comfeys. Probably not the Greninja. You want to encourage your opponent to use Greninja.
Yep, and we see those damage counters come onto this Screamtail, allowing it to take these giant knockouts as well. Huge addition here. Ryan Antonucci has pulled it off thanks to some card draws here in this turn.
I am really wondering what Ryan is planning here, though. He had counter catcher, Sashin, knockout here.
Yeah.
You know there's 2 Psychics here. You know there's another Psychic right here. No, there's 3 Psychics in the last one, actually. That's the last Psychic, and there's 2 Super Runs gone. Just knock out that Giratina V with your counter catcher.
Wait, there's 3 in the Lost Zone?
Yeah, there's 3 in the Lost Zone because Giratina V-Star used Lost Impact last turn, sending the Jet and the Psychic, plus the 2 from the beginning,
Yeah,
right?
you're right. Yeah, there's 3 in the Lost Zone. 1 water, 1 grass, the Jet energy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the last Psychic energy that Ian has access to, no matter what. So Ryan playing extremely conservatively.
Yeah, that's a bit scary, I guess.
Oh, wait, there's another Psychic in Ian's hand, I just saw. Maybe I'm confusing games again? I might be confusing games
well, this is the Lost Zone that Ian's looking at right now.
Right.
No, I don't. Maybe. I don't know. I would be doing the same thing, though, Pablo.
No, there's definitely a boss and a Psychic energy, and we're going to see the boss onto the Gardevoir EX. Take 2 prizes here with the V-Star. There are only 2 Psychic energy in the Lost Zone. I could have sworn there were 3, but clearly I am wrong. Yep, we see the path. Very nice.
All right, Path to the Peak coming down here. Yeah, little mix-up there between the players, but we're back on track here. Comfey coming down onto the bench for Ian Robb as well. We're going to see the Jet Energy attachment bringing this Giratina V-Star up into the active position here now.
Yep. Another peculiar situation. I guess we're going to see a Lost Impact instead of the V-Star. Yep. And Ian is holding a Psychic Energy to be able to start Requiem, anything he needs afterwards. Cramorant will finally be unlocked from the prize cards, and Ian Robb finding a way to push through.
Well, now we have a Psychic Energy in the Lost Zone there, Pablo.
Now we definitely have the 3rd Psychic Energy into the Lost Zone.
3rd Psychic into the Lost Zone here, of course, off of that Lost Impact there from Ian Robb, taking the knockouts there on that Gardevoir EX that was on the board. 2 prize cards left to take for Ian Robb now.
Yeah, now Ryan can definitely Iono this turn. That would be a pretty dreamy setup here, putting Ian down to 2 cards off of that humongous hand. Can use Screamtail to take down either of these Giratinas. Probably wants to go after the benched one, just to make sure that this one is much harder to move, to do anything, right? You can't just promote a Comfey and start digging through your deck to recover from the Iono.
Yeah, playing to all of your outs here. We're going to see that counter catcher now, bringing up the Radiant Greninja for Ryan Antonucci.
Not even letting or giving Ian the option to attach Psychic and attack. This way, Ian needs to find a switching card and the Psychic energy to do anything this turn, as we're going to see that. Iono not even bothering countering down the path because the path can give extra cards to Ian if he draws any sort of energies here.
Yeah, that's true. Iono, both players going to draw into some new cards here. Ian Robb, just 2 cards. So even more obstacles being put in Ian's way. Level Ball here going to be discarded to the first refinement. Rare Candy Ralts off of that refinement. Mew, Mysterious Tail Mew, going to be our second refinement discard.
I really would have liked Ryan use that Level Ball to shuffle his deck because the Lost Vacuum and the Collapse Stadium did go to the bottom of the deck.
Off the
you might need that eventually, so I feel like you want to increase your chances at finding them. But we're finally going to see the Roaring Scream take down either of these Giratinas. Which one are you going to guess?
I was about to say the left one. All right. Well, either way, Giratina V-Star going down thanks to that cute little Scream tail. The Roaring Scream there. 2 more prize cards for Ryan Antonucci.
And Ian Robb does find that Mirage Gate off of the 2-card Iono. Does have 1 Psychic Energy left. Is there anything else left there, Boo? I don't think so.
Does that 1 Psychic Energy here for Ian Robb.
It's all about the crown. Ooh, wow. What a draw. The 2-card Iono provides Mirage Gate and Roxanne. Wow.
Yeah, that is quite the find there. I mean, we see how powerful Roxanne has been for Ian Robb in the other matches today, and it's going to hopefully prove to be powerful once again here, limiting Ryan to just 2 cards here. Ian Robb going to get 6.
Yep, and I mean, Ian can easily take 2 prizes by using Star Requiem for 1 and then Cramorant for the next. Does find a Jet Energy, does find a Switch, does find the Cramorant. So I think this might be it.
It's like Ian Robb taking a look, yeah, just making sure to map through everything. It's going to be the Switch into the Cramorant here. That is the knockout there on the Scream Tail. Ian Robb going down to just 1 prize card left now. Ryan Antonucci promoting that Kirlia into the active spot here. Still 3 prize cards left to take, though.
We're going to start off with Refinement, but that Cramorant itself is such a big threat. If you power up any sort of damage, Cramorant could just take a knockout, but no Boss's Orders or Counter Catcher to take down this Giratina V-Star, which can Star Requiem anything.
Yeah, either way, we got the outs here, Pablo.
There is 1 Counter Catcher left in Ryan's deck, so I think we're going to see that Shining Arcana try to find it.
We shall see. It looks like Ryan Antonucci is bringing down that Shining Arcana Gardevoir.
Yeah, if Shining Arcana Gardevoir can take down that Giratina, and it's on Ian to find a way to push this Gardevoir Shining Arcana back to the bench and knock out any of the bench Pokemon. But if Ryan goes a step further and evolves this Kirlia into Gardevoir EX, not even an escape rope will help Ian Robb.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you're making your opponent work uphill once again here, throwing as many obstacles, and it's going to come down to another very close game here, Pablo, between both of our players.
There it is. There's the Counter Catcher Gardevoir EX into the knockout. Oh, there's the boss. Never mind.
Oh my God.
All right. That works.
And Ian Robb, I have boss for game. That works.
Boss for game. Keep it simple, and we're off to a game 3.
Oh my gosh, Pablo. I'll tell you what, these Gardevoir matches are absolutely brain melting. I mean, there's so much that's being accounted for here, but Ian Robb able to just flash the boss for game there. Take us to a 1-1. We're going into a game 3 here in our Masters top 4.
What a game 2. Yeah, there's Psychic into Lost Zone with the Jet, and very interesting game we saw back and forth. My money was definitely not on Ian Robb winning this one.
My gosh, no faith here, Pablo.
No faith. After what I saw in the game, no faith.
I know.
But clearly, I was wrong.
Yeah, Ian Robb able to pull things out once again, tying us up with a 1-1 here. after a grinding 2 games so far in this set between our players. I mean, both these players are absolute pros in this game. You saw it throughout all of these plays, throughout these games. But that counter catcher gonna bring up the Giratina V-Star. Ian Robb, boss's orders, and I'm going to take the game there, taking that last prize card needed. I have the cards in hand, and we're going to a game 3 now in our Masters top 4. I mean, oh my gosh. It melts my brain watching this matchup. I can't even imagine being either of these players sitting in the seat. Not only are you keeping track of all of your resources, every single one of them so pivotal. Every decision you make in these matches so pivotal to the later game between both these players, and they're keeping track of so much and doing it fantastically. Ryan Antonucci and Ian Robb, here are their prize cards going into our game 3.
Ralts and double Giratina prize for Ian Robb. Starting off with the other one, so could get a little tricky, as we've seen how important that Giratina V-Star is to deal with the threats that Ryan builds up on the board.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out here, but Ryan starting off with this mysterious tail Mew in the active position here. Level Ball, going to be a similar story that we've seen so far, bringing out a Ralts already onto the field here from this opening hand. We also saw a lot of Battle VIP Pass in the prize cards too for both of our players.
Yeah, that is true, which definitely reduces the odds of finding one off of Mew, which is probably what you're hoping for at this point in time. I'm thinking about last game. I feel like
they are too. They're literally chatting about it right now.
I feel like something just didn't work out for Ryan. It felt like he was in control for most of the game, and it just escaped at the end. Wow, whiffing that mysterious tail. No item cards in the top 6 cards. That always feels horrible.
Yeah, especially when you play so many item cards here, but nothing going to be drawn off this mysterious tail as these two players just chat about the last game. Hopefully Ryan Antonucci can shake that off, not focus too heavily on what I could have done differently in the last game, and bring it into this 3rd game between our players. Focus up and hopefully bring out a win here and head into our finals. We'll have to see who's going to take things home here. Ryan Antonucci completed the first turn. Now we're over to Ian Robb's side. It's just going to be an Avery to start us off.
Yeah,
oh my
slammed
goodness.
Down the Avery and just drew a whole array of energies. His hand is so colorful, just like that rainbow Avery, which is not very useful at this point in time. I think there's 5 energies in his hand right now.
Oh, we're just going to go straight into Abyss Seeking here off of this Giratina V. We got an energy attachment. The Comfey not even being used here in this turn. It was just the Avery played down 2 cards now in the Lost Zone thanks to that Abyss Seeking. We're back over to Ryan Antonucci's side of things. Maybe the Mysterious Tail can actually profit us a card this time, Pablo?
Possibly, yeah. Attaching this reversal energy never feels good, but Ryan knows he needs to Mirage Step here to be able to establish his board. Otherwise, he's going to be in trouble. And no Level Ball, no Ultra Ball, no Mirage Step. Does draw Kirlia, which is not the one you want.
Wrong one.
So now we need to Mysterious Tail into a Level Ball or Ultra Ball and go from there, but not what you want to see as Gardevoir. There's a Level Ball.
Okay. Woo! Saved by the Mysterious Tail Mew here. Finally pulling some weight here. Getting an item card off of the top 6 cards there. That Level Ball going to carry a lot of weight. Ryan Antonucci, the last 2 games, pretty smoothly went into that Mirage Step Kirlia. But this time, a little bit clunkier here, but hopefully still able to get there now. Fog Crystal could go back into the deck now for that Psychic Pokemon or Psychic Energy. Taking a quick look through the Pokemon, making sure everyone is accounted for before picking up that Ralts here as well.
Yep, needs to play that Level Ball to fetch the Mirage Step Kirlia, but we'll be able to get through the rest. Now, it always feels bad when you draw Kirlia right when you're about to Mirage Step, but does have that Ralts established to be able to evolve next turn. So we'll still have triple refinement, and that Iono, Ryan doesn't know, but the Iono just sent a Colress and the Cramorant, which is Ian's way to be able to apply early pressure to the bottom of the deck. So unless there's a Nest Ball found, which we see one of them here, then could be a little tricky, and Ian might just need to be seeking once again this turn.
Yeah, that is pretty solid of an Iono indeed. Of course, you never know what you're sending to the bottom of the deck. We do, luckily, casting this game. But Ian Robb able to find a Call versus Experiment here from the hand. Going to add 2 additional cards to the Lost Zone here, bringing us up to 4 now. Let's see if there's anything else in the hand Ian is able to work with for this turn. Well, a Jet Energy is one way to go about things. Going to have another flower selecting here for Ian Robb. Looks like a Mirage Gate. And was that a Pokegear?
Yeah, valuing that late game consistency, valuing that Knoxville as well to be able to apply pressure with Cramorant. Cramorant was the MVP, right,
yeah,
of the previous game. That we're talking about that efficiency when you lost on so many energies, and Ian had essentially like the resources very specific to be able to close out the game. That spit it instantly that you can do for free thanks to lost provisions is so clutch, especially against these low HP friends.
Yeah, it's been MVP in really both games here for Ian Robb. It carries so much weight in this matchup with such little resources as well. And Ian Robb has really not struggled at all to get the Lost Zone up in numbers. Maybe a little bit in game 1, but pretty consistent with those Abyss Seekings. So, yeah, Cramorant being able to be utilized as soon as possible for Ian Robb is a fantastic strategy here to continue the pressure and, you know, not fall too far behind on board state and prize cards.
Yep, always great to be able to keep that up. The board definitely isn't looking too hot. We would like more comfades, like Greninja perhaps, which we see is priced. But getting ahead, having your Giratina V-Star established, and not a lot of Psychic energies in your opponent's discard pile, you know you're in for a good time. And in case Ian doesn't know Ryan's deck beforehand or had any prior information, you have not seen Cresselia show up at any point, and Cramorant's worst enemy is Cresselia. So I think at this point he must be very confident that Ryan just does not have the card.
Yeah, I mean, especially there's so many scenarios as well, Pablo, where you're like, oh, Cresselia would be perfect here.
Except.
Yeah, except it doesn't exist in this list.
Yep.
So, yeah, I would be pretty confident going into that as well if I was Ian Robb. Gonna take the first prize card here, throwing a little bit of disruption in Ryan's way, but I mean, it's Gardevoir. We're working with a lot here. So let's get started with this turn. Reversal Energy is going to jump onto the field there on that Shining Arcana Gardevoir, as well as this evolution into Kirlia, going to bring us an additional refinement for the turn after that first one.
Yep, now, I think Ryan's really debating here. He wants to Iono, wants to ideally find Gardevoir EX, evolve, attach energy to Mew, and then be able to KO the Cramorant as it's Ian's only threat, and would leave him in a very vulnerable position. But it will also cost you one of your refinements. I will put a little bit of damage on the board, so very essential to bench the Jirachi here to protect from a possible Sableye retaliation. And he was holding a Ralts in his hand, but chose not to bench it just to make sure that he has the bench space free for Manaphy once again.
Yeah,
he doesn't know Greninja is prized. All he knows is that there's no water energy in play, and even though the Great Greninja isn't in play, he's also very aware of the potential threat of it.
Yeah, and that's great to be as prepared as possible, get as much protection on the field as possible. We saw the additional refinement there for the turn into a Mysterious Tail that's currently being concluded as we speak here. Looks like couple of options. I saw a counter catcher, a level ball here for Ryan Antonucci. I'll have to take a look at the hand and see what he chooses to go with for this Mysterious Tail.
Yep, I think it's level ball, maybe for Manaphy, or maybe just a discard fodder, as there was no Gardevoir. Oh no, there is a Gardevoir EX found, so my money's on this finding Manaphy, and there we go. Yeah, speaking of preparedness, you don't know, but you cannot afford to take the risk. If at any point Ian, 2 cards away from activating Mirage Gate, benches the Greninja, Mirage Gates attach, retreat, and you're left with 2 prizes down. Yeah, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ryan sees that as well. Benching a little blue dude here, jumping on to the field. And the more energy we see coming out of the discard pile here, the more damage that's potentially stacking up on the field for Ryan Antonucci. That Gardevoir joining us in the active here that already has a reversal energy attached to it from the turn.
Yep, and the good thing is no prior damage to this Gardevoir does mean 140 HP. That's a lot for Lost Box decks to hit and will require a Lost Impact, which is a little bit too much to do at this point. But if it's what you have to do, it's what you have to commit to.
Yeah, Lost Impact. It's a lot to lose, but yeah, like you said, if you have to do it, you got to do it. One Psychic Energy going into the Lost Zone here for Ian Robb. What?
Underwhelming turn there. Just a Flower Select, a Path, Attach, and Pass. And now Ryan has a huge opening. Now, the Reversal Energy doesn't work, so stretching to get 8 basic energies onto this Gardevoir to take down this Giratina V-Star is probably off the table. But I think you're pretty okay with that as long as you knock out this Comfey. Now, this is also extremely risky. Now, if Ian somehow finds a way to KO the Gardevoir EX, that's going to be very problematic as we see the Shiny Arcana versus Psychic. So many things happening, Boo.
I know, Pablo, you can't keep up. Yeah, these players move fast here, but yeah, both Shining Arcana Gardevoir on the field now, and you only have so many evolutions you could do here. You got to pick and choose your Gardevoir here in this matchup. Not one, but two Gardevoir.
We could have seen a pass from Ryan, but the double Shining Arcana hit just means he was able to take a knockout as he didn't have a pass counter, and then he top decks the pass counter. Ian just draw passes and is in a lot of trouble.
How did I already miss that, Pablo? Oh my goodness, here. Okay, let's keep going with these turns. Ian Robb once again stuck in a terrible position to be in. Taking a quick look at the time on board right now. We're just under 13 minutes, but wow, I cannot believe this is how our third game is unfolding here, Pablo.
Now, if enough Psychic Energies were found, there is a way Ryan can't just end the game right here. It needs 8 energy total, and because of the Shiny Arcana hitting 2 energies the previous turn, now we can easily attach 6 through Psychic Embrace. So
how many do we have?
I think
1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, making our job a little bit easier here,
all right,
Ryan.
So we need to find 3 energies off the top from double Shining Arcana to be able to do this. Oh, there's an energy attachment return. So 2 energies off the top. There's also Research in hand, so we could see a huge dig here for Ryan to just end the game right here.
You think we're going to see it, Pablo?
I would totally go for it. I would 100% go for it. The big move for the final. You could play it safe, but just go for it.
Oh my gosh.
Go for it.
I mean, Ryan's been playing.
But you need to counter the path.
Oh no, no. Oh no.
Did not play the path counter.
Ryan, no.
I mean, your deck is small enough to where it's fine. Hopefully you found another Psychic. You found more path counters, but
that was scary.
I'm very surprised
that's
why
a
he
little
did
bit
not play that Artisan.
Yeah, of an oversight there, but hopefully saved here now. We have that energy here. We have the energy added to the discard pile, the path counter.
There's the energy. Probably that's why. Now there's enough energies, and there's the KO. The collapsed stadium was able to allow Ryan to get there. Very, very well done. I panicked so hard right there.
Yeah, Pablo, I can feel your heart stop there in that moment. But it doesn't matter anyway. Ryan Antonucci able to pull it out here. Knew exactly what was going on there in that matchup and is going to take a 2-1 victory versus Ian Robb and that Giratina v Lost Box deck. Woo! That was crazy.
That was a very intense set, and honestly, I'm very major props to Ian. He was able to make a lot of games out of nothing, honestly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was definitely giving up hope on him, and then out of the blue, he turned that game 2 around, and yeah.
Yeah, this is looking back at our game 1 between these players. It was so back and forth. I mean, none of the starts Ian Robb had were good, to say the least. It was not dominant in any way, shape, or form, but Ian was not able to bring things out on the first game. Ryan Antonucci going up a game in our second game. Again, Pablo, you lost all hope here, but Ian Robb pulled things out in our second game as things just slipped away for Ryan Antonucci in this game 2.
Yeah, I feel like he was very in control, and all of a sudden the Roxanne. Yeah, the Roxanne plus Mirage Gate of the 2-card Iono, which you want to say is a little bit of a lucky break for Ian, which he definitely deserved after
I know.
the starts and the choices
once.
he had. Yeah, he was able to pull through. He was like, oh, you got counter catcher, I'll raise you a boss's orders, let's go to game 3. And Cramorant was just not enough.